The film begins with Marty, a professional ping pong player who, in order to make ends meet, is forced to work in his uncle's shoe store. His uncle considers ping pong nothing more than a hobby, and to keep Marty tied to the business, he prints his name on the store card as the manager. Marianne walks into the store as usual, and they do the thing. Marty approaches the businessman father of his friend Dion with a proposal to manufacture orange ping pong balls. Current balls are only produced in white, which often makes them hard for players to distinguish against white clothing. Dion's father likes the idea. Marty returns to the shoe store to collect money his uncle owes him, only to learn that he has gone on a trip. Furious, he starts shouting because he has a match the next day and needs the money. The clerk says there is nothing he can do and leaves. Marty becomes so enraged that he pulls his uncle's gun from a drawer and points it at him to force him to open the safe. He boards a plane and travels to London. The player's dormitory is filthy, prompting him to approach the tournament director and demand a private room, but the director mocks him and ignores his request. The tournament begins. Marty easily defeats his opponents in the first 2 rounds until he notices a Japanese player known as the Ghost. With his strange racket, no one seems capable of resisting him. At the end of the day, reporters interview Marty at the hotel when they spot Kay, a former movie star. Marty locks eyes with her and becomes captivated by her charm, immediately renting a room and calling her from the hotel phone. He flirts and does everything he can to persuade Kay to come to his room.
So you'd like me to come up to your room?
She is about to hang up when Marty introduces himself and tells her to look at the newspaper's front page to see his photo. Her husband emerges from the bathroom, and she pretends she is speaking to a friend. She tries again to end the call, but Marty insists she stay on the line and look toward the opposite building.
Here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna make an apple appear in that bowl. And if I do, you're gonna blow off your little rendezvous.
No.
He does exactly that, and the next day Kay attends his match. In the semifinals, Marty faces a 3-time champion. He wins the first 2 sets, and in the third he performs tricks with his racket for Kay and wins again. After the match, during dinner with his opponent, he spots Kay and her husband in the hotel restaurant. He pays for their table, and Milton, a powerful businessman, joins them to see what's happening. Marty pretends to be a fan of Milton's wife's films. Kay notices Marty from afar and is impressed by his actions. That same night, Marty gets what he wants. Kay comes to his room, undresses, and they end up getting dirty. The next morning is the final. His opponent is Endo. On the first serve, Marty cannot read the ball's trajectory and loses the point. Endo, aided by his racket, racks up points and begins humiliating Marty. The first set ends in a crushing defeat. Milton arrives to watch during the second set, which Marty also loses. In the final set, Marty uses all his skill and keeps pace with Endo, but after losing the last 2 points, Endo becomes champion. Marty explodes with rage and attacks the referees over Endo's racket. Sometime later, Milton offers Marty a promotional rematch against Endo in Japan. Marty needs the money to compete in future tournaments and sees this as a chance for revenge. However, Milton sets a condition. Marty must lose, as the aim is to appeal to Japanese audiences. Marty refuses to be humiliated again, angering Milton.
Get out.
Back home, a police officer is waiting. Marty is arrested following his uncle's complaint about the safe theft. His uncle takes the money Marty had saved for Japan and demands he return to the shop. Marty promises to work there whenever asked, provided the money is returned. His uncle refuses. Realizing his situation is dire, Marty apologizes and asks to change his clothes before talking further. Instead, he escapes through the window and down the fire escape, making his way to Marianne's shop. Using the shop's phone, he calls his friend Wally to rescue him with a taxi. While speaking, Marty notices Marianne's pregnant belly. She tells him the child is his, but he refuses to accept it. Her husband catches them together and calls the police, while Marianne helps Marty escape through the back door. Police search the neighborhood, but Marty reaches a cheap hotel where he meets Wally. They rent the cheapest room, and the landlord warns them not to use the bathtub. At that moment, a man named Ezra enters with a foul-smelling dog. Repulsed by the odor, Marty fills the bathtub anyway and gets in, only for the bathroom floor to collapse beneath him. Ezra's hand becomes trapped under the tub, and he begins bleeding heavily. Marty immediately helps free the dog, then releases Ezra's hand and uses a belt to stop the bleeding. An ambulance arrives, but the dog is seriously ill and needs urgent vet care. As Marty and Wally prepare to leave, Ezra asks Marty to open his briefcase. Marty is stunned by the amount of money inside. Ezra asks him to take the dog to a vet and keep some of the cash in return. Marty takes the money and leaves with Wally. Wally wants to honor their promise, but Marty ignores the dog and instead heads to a ping pong club to make more money. The players gamble, and Marty and Wally conspire to fleece the top players. At a gas station outside the club, their trick is exposed. The players attack them, smash the car window, and seize the money. Marty sprays them with gasoline from a nozzle and escapes, but the dog runs off, and the entire gas station catches fire. Marty goes to his old club friends to find a place to sleep for the night, but he runs into Mary Ann. She has a bruised eye and looks badly frightened. Marty introduces her to Dion as his sister so they can stay the night. Dion agrees on the condition that they keep quiet. He shows Marty the prototype of the ball they produced. Marty is completely broke.
It's really nice.
The next morning, he calls Milton's office to accept the offer, but Milton isn't there. He gets the address of a theater from the secretary and goes there. Kay is rehearsing for a new performance when she notices Marty. He flatters her excessively and tells her she shines like a diamond on stage. Marty speaks with Milton and asks him to reconsider his offer, but Milton has already replaced him. In revenge, Marty does the thing with Kay again, and in the middle of it, steals her necklace. He takes it to a jeweler, only to learn it's fake. Marty's luck has run out. The next morning, he borrows Dion's car and together with Mary Ann, goes near the club where they lost the dog to try to find it again. Marty hopes to get a reward from the owner, but the problem is that no one has seen the dog around there. They head to an old house, and no one appears to be home, but Marty spots the dog through a window. At that moment, the owner arrives and demands that Mary Ann leave his property immediately. Marty approaches happily to thank him, but the man feigns ignorance and claims there is no dog. Marty insists it's inside, but the owner threatens them with a shotgun. Marty attacks him, but the owner knocks him down. Mary Ann hits the owner with the car to save Marty, destroying part of the house, and they flee. That night, Mary Ann calls Ezra from a public phone and asks for $1,000 reward. Ezra laughs off the proposal. This plan fails too, and they return to Dion's house. Dion is furious about his damaged car and tells them to leave immediately. Mary Ann begins to cry, and she and Marty stage an act to manipulate Dion into letting them stay. When she wipes her tears, the bruise under her eye disappears. Marty realizes it was makeup, and they argue. Dion storms into the room and demands silence until his father wakes up and throws them both out. Marty abandons Mary Ann, forcing her to return home. The next morning, her husband makes her leave. She arranges to meet Ezra. He arrives, but wants to see the dog before paying. Mary Ann insists the dog is safe and in the restaurant across the street. She tries hard to get the money first, but is not successful, and Ezra realizes the dog there is not his. Mary Ann tries to run, but Ezra's bodyguard catches her. Meanwhile, Marty goes to Kay to return the necklace and apologize. He had intended to exploit her kindness for money, but she had already seen through his plan. Her manager enters the room, and she asks him to give Marty a ticket. Before the show begins, Marty receives a note from Kay asking him to meet her in Central Park after the performance. Marty waits for hours until Kay finally arrives. She gives him one of the necklaces her husband bought. She owns 25 and is certain he won't notice if one is missing. Marty starts kissing her, and as they begin fooling around on the grass, the police arrest them. One of the officers recognizes her. She bribes them with the necklace.
Take it! Take it! It's yours.
Marty needs another necklace and begs her to bring one more. She is sure it will make her husband suspicious, but eventually agrees. After waiting several hours with no sign of Kay, Marty goes to her house where a large party is taking place. He sees Kay crying badly, but they don't allow him to see her. Marty then spots Milton and asks him to let him go to Japan with him. Milton refuses at first, but Marty says he is willing to do anything he wants. Milton changes his mind, but only if he humiliates himself publicly by letting Milton spank him several times with a ping pong racket. Marty removes his trousers, and when Milton hits him, everyone laughs. He feels degraded, but endures it. Later, Marty returns to his club to sleep and is surprised to see Ezra there. Ezra and his bodyguard take Marty and Marianne to the old house. Hearing a dog bark, Ezra realizes it's his. As soon as Marty knocks, the owner opens fire, killing the bodyguard. Chaos erupts. Marty hides behind a tree. Marianne is shot, and Marty runs toward the car. Ezra is also wounded but manages to kill the owner. Marianne tells Marty there's money in Ezra's pocket. Marty hurriedly takes it and brings her to the hospital. The doctors must deliver the baby prematurely to save her life. She panics and wants Marty to stay, but he has to leave for Japan the next day. By chance, Marty spots the tournament director in the crowd and apologizes for his earlier behavior. The director refuses to accept him back into the competition, explaining that the draw has already been made, even though Marty promises to pay the entry fee that day. The exhibition match begins, with Marty facing Endo while Milton watches from the stands. As planned, Endo wins. With nothing left to lose, Marty tells everyone the match was fixed and demands a real game. The crowd, realizing the truth, grows angry and calls for a rematch. Milton sends someone to stop Marty, but Endo decides to play fairly, rendering Milton's efforts useless. The game will be a single set. Endo initially gains the advantage with powerful serves, but Marty gradually begins to anticipate his shots. Endo loses the edge his racket once gave him, and they reach 18-18. During a short break, Milton threatens Marty on stage, saying that if he wins, he'll receive neither money nor a return ticket. Marty loses a few points, and Milton believes he is succeeding, but Marty equalizes and comes within 2 points of victory. Tension fills the air. With a quick move, Marty gains another point. On the final serve, he wins. He has finally defeated the world champion and achieved his greatest dream. After the match, he immediately calls the hospital and learns that Marianne and the baby are both safe. He returns at once on an American flight and meets his child in the hospital. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, you know what to do.